So we're just heading over for another coffee chat. Yesterday we had the Toyota Believe conference, which was actually very interesting to hear Toyota's plans and visions for the future. So we'll just cruise over and meet with some of the guys and have a chat about it. Hey, morning all.
Morning.
So a big part of the focus of the conversation from Toyota was all about technology and the technology of the future, how they see fuel going and the changes to the fuel systems.
There was a lot of stuff on hybrid and on fuel cell cars.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good day, real good day yesterday, yeah.
It was really interesting, wasn't it, how much focus Toyota is putting into cars of the future, and as we get towards this whole peak oil conversation, they've obviously been thinking about it for a while and planning a whole lot of different ways around the whole conversation of what happens when oil supplies run out.
Indeed, yeah. Big feature on the Prius. Cars of the future, little yellow dots on the road, and the car will charge itself as it drives along. It can self-drive.
That kind of leads into conversations about how much technology is in these cars and how to deal with them. Now, a big part of that is the servicing side of things. Barry?
Yeah, no, you're right there. So cars did start out just with carburetor and a few wires, and now they've gone to computers here, computers everywhere.
Yeah.
So, you know.
And Chris, the whole diagnostic side of things is really important, isn't it? Because I mean, these cars are full of electronics and they require quite specialist equipment in order to understand them.
Like Barry said a minute ago, that a few years ago anyone could work on a car, but now these days you need the tools, you need the training, you need the equipment, and and without that you can't do it. And we've got all that, and the trained technicians too. So.
And a lot of these cars have got serial ports in them now, don't they? All modern cars do. So you're basically plugging a computer into a computer,
yep.
And they're talking to each other.
Yes, they are. And without it, you'd just be lost. We couldn't do it. So luckily, we've got all that equipment and the technician to do it.
So from a parts perspective, when there is a disaster like what happened to Japan last year, it did put a whole lot of pressure on spare parts globally. And new car production, obviously, there was a bit of a hiccup with all of that, but that seemed to have worked itself out of the system now. But with the parts side of things, did you guys notice? Was it a problem?
Yeah, there was a lot of, we were checking, people would ring up, trade or retail customers would ring up wanting parts. We can check to see if Toyota New Zealand have them, and 80% of the time Toyota didn't have them, and customers are getting really quite angry. And you just have to deal with that, just explain and say if Toyota New Zealand were going to get the parts and they were going to be a lot longer rather than the usual 3-week wait, it was going to be sort of 6-week wait. So.
But it all got sorted in the end, and the parts all did come?
Yeah. People were understanding of the fact because they knew what was going on.
Yeah.
And I guess that's part of the globalisation of everything now, isn't it? Yeah. That everything comes from somewhere else pretty much, and as such you're kind of dependent on what's happening elsewhere, and you don't have any control over what's happening with parts and supply of stuff. Excellent. Well, thanks guys. Very informative.
Thank you.
See ya.
Yeah.